shared between Senator Saint-Germain and another senator, Senator Saint-Germain. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, Mr. Minister, and thank you for being here. I think it's a fact. We all recognize the importance of art and the fact that if we are to commemorate traumas of the past, First Nations have to be involved. They need to be able to express their history and protect their legacy, their heritage. You spoke of commemoration, learning. These are strong words. So I have a two-pronged question for you. First, with regard to the consultations you carried out with Indigenous communities, what are their expectations with regard to this National Day of Commemoration? And second question, how are these various Indigenous communities involved? How will they be involved in the days of commemoration? Thank you. Thank you for your question, Senator. As I was saying to your colleague, on the one hand, this is one of the recommendations made by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And on the other hand, this request was made by Indigenous communities across the country. This day would exist specifically to commemorate this dark chapter in our history. We can never forget it. Your colleague drew a parallel, which I find quite relevant, with what we do on Remembrance Day. It is an opportunity for all Canadians to remember. So on Remembrance Day, it's to remember those who fought for Canada. But the parallel is relevant, even though the circumstances are very different. So let's use that day as a day of reflection, but also a day of learning. I was saying earlier, I never learned this in school. That dark chapter was completely missing from my own education as a white man growing up in Quebec, and I think that's the case for Canadians across the country. I would like my kids to learn about our history and that chapter. If I may, Mr. Minister, I understand that I am a white Francophone woman from Quebec, and I can relate to what you're saying. That is, we did not learn about this growing up in school. You also drew a parallel with Remembrance Day, which involves veterans, of course. They're involved in the organization of events on that day. So, in the same manner, do you believe, or are you saying that Indigenous peoples will help participate in this day of commemoration? Yes, absolutely. And we've already started funding activities in collaboration with Indigenous organizations and communities across the country. The 2021 budget provides even more resources. When the budget was announced, we still did not know that Bill C-5 would be passed, but we were certainly hoping that it would be passed. We wanted to create a day which would mark forever this part of Canada's history. Heritage Canada also has a funding program for celebrations and commemorations and teachings. For instance, we funded the Kamloops community no later than last June with regard to that part. And there are other communities which received funding under that program. So we are already offering Indigenous communities and nations support with regard to commemorations and